Hello everyone and welcome to our special 2 videos blunders for Halloween 2012. And well, we're going to have indeed, this was trick or treat for many players. Some of them got the first one, some of them got the second one. And I've chosen actually, maybe I took the lazy part or maybe the interesting one, just games of players 2700 and above. I'm certain that there are other interesting creative blunders out there, and maybe if I will get enough emails or enough messages for many of you, maybe we will make one special one for Christmas. But until then, we have only 2,700 players, and without much delay, I think we should start with the blunders of all blunders. This one will get a special spot, not just in 2012. I'm obviously referring to the Anand Gelfand game number 8 from their match, and well, the game that might have changed chess history forever. World Championship match. Gelfand's first 6 games were draws. Gelfand was holding it, winning game 7 in a great style, and alright, dude, just hold this game. Then you have 2 whites, 2 black, you're 1 point ahead. That's not bad, but well, history had something different to say. It came from, actually, believe it or not, Anand deviated from the Grunfeld, then entered some type of Zamish or whatever version, and complicated position. Anand took. Okay, his king looks weak a bit in the center. It's actually not. Yes, controlling some squares. Obviously, most natural move is knight g7. White would want to play something in this sort. I think white is better. I'm pretty certain that Gelfand also thought white's better. And play this move, queen f6. Well, I also want knight on f4, but how? Well, his idea, for example, was that if the bishop goes somewhere and something like this, well, he might consider sacrifice and then moving the knight. Oh, those knights looks just awesome for black. I mean, I think for King's Indian player, you're in a dream territory. But what happens after capture? Okay, obviously this is a false move. Capture, okay, this is Gelfand's idea. King to c2. King to queen take rook. And now white's 17th move. Well, what to play? Obviously Gelfand was seeing it. Anand took the knight with less than 2 minutes. Well, if I'm not mistaken, Gelfand mentioned that he was looking at queen f4. Well, looking how to prevent black's queen from escaping. And then some queen g1 and complications and whatever. Well, it took one move for Anand. And if you haven't seen it, I would strongly suggest you to pause right here. And if you have queen f2, then you just retained your world championship title like Anand did. Actually, they went into the rapid and Gelfand was favored in most of the rapid games. But like I said, it was some destiny that, really, I view just destiny that allowed Anand to win this game the way he did against Gelfand. Just incredible. And to keep his world championship title. No doubts, our blunder of all blunders. Next one, oh man, if the game Anand Gelfand wasn't a world championship, I would have to say that there will be no competition at all for the next one. The next one is as astonishing as they come. I mean, honestly, it took me a night to think about this one non-stop and see how this have happened. Alright, Carlsen Aronian. With all due respect to Anand Gelfand and World Championship title, those are the best players in the world these days. I don't think there are big, huge doubts about that. They played in Bilbao, the most important or highest level tournament in the world. Okay, Carlsen was white. This was in the first round, and last move by Aronian was queen h3, and white played bishop f4. I showed this position to almost everyone that I could on the same day, right after the round, that they didn't see it before. And I remember one player that I showed this position, first of 2300, 2400 player. First of all, immediately made a face, bishop f4, this cannot be really good. And after about another 10 seconds, just suggested the winning continuation. And again, if you haven't seen it or don't know, well, why don't you see if you can do it? Well, it's not what Aronian played. Some crazy lines, giving the bishop, taking, all right. And made a draw somehow. Positions about equal. But why not capture? I mean, those are not the best. They are the best everything. Best normal player in the world, normal time control, best rapid player in the world, best blitz players in the world. You know, just you cannot go anywhere. They are just the best two players out there in the world. What? After take. Okay, we won checkmate. Checkmate is a bit forcing move, right? When we study chess with beginners, we tell them that to look at forcing move, that's checkmate. And if Rook G1, this is checkmate. That's exactly the line that my 2400 friend player immediately suggested. But tiny bit overlooking what Aronian overlooked in the game. Not excuse, not really excuse. Carlsen said that he just seen this line after pushing the clock. Aronian said after it that he overlooked that after check, oh no, do we have to go here? Not really. Bishop f8. Resign. Oh man, this makes you think a lot. And definitely, if the other game, Anand Gelfand wouldn't have been the World Championship, no doubt, this is player number 1, player number 2 in the world, the Blunders of 2012, big competitor for even more than that. All right, next one. Not deciding any World Championship title, not anything in that magnitude, but okay, the Biel tournament, a strong tournament with Carlsen, Nakamura, a very interesting game played by Bacrot, which had a very decent position against Nakamura, and here played an unbelievable move. Sorry, first of all, it was Icaro to play bishop to f5. Well, what can we expect in this position after bishop f5? I think white's d-pawn is quite powerful. I would go with queen e3, for example. I think white is just better after such a move. I remember I was doing Chess FM. We had online coverage of that tournament. And after rook e1, my first comment was, oh, that's a relay mistake. Because, okay, just if you see the idea, it takes half a second. I just thought it's a relay mistake because, okay, queen takes e1 is a second to see, maybe probably for Icaro, tenth of a second. And, well, you want to bet if he played this or not? Yes. So, from the magnitude and from the simplicity, I would definitely put this as one of the very, very top. I made effort, at least to my taste, to put them by importance and by simplicity or shocking one. I think that for such a super strong player like Bacrot, this was just unbelievable. The first comment was, that's a relay mistake, something else was played. It usually means that something wrong was played if it is not a relay mistake. All right, we will continue. All right. And again, Nakamura. But in those examples, he's on the right side. Actually, in many of our examples, Icaro is on the right side. And actually maybe not hugely surprising, despite that he had a horrible streak lately. Bullet players, maybe he's the best in the world, right? They don't blunder that much. I mean, just because those tiny nasty tricks that we are all seeing and just shockingly cannot believe, they do not happen that much. So, game in the Olympiad where Hikaru had an absolutely great score, even including his loss in the last round, but just had absolutely, was fighting for the gold medal. Playing against Sasikiran in the important game against India. And Black really has one move in this position. After King b1 by White, Black has to defend the e6 pawn and played e5. Anything else is just simply losing the game on the spot. And I can mention that just quickly, that if take, this is very okay for Black. If check again, the king can go somewhere and Black is just going to be, Black is not worse. The computer indicating a repetition in this line as the best continuation after Queen take e6, King c6, Queen to e4 and just King b6. Okay, so Hikaru played first King b1. Alright. And now e5 is alright. But what after take? Just incredible that such a strong player like Sasikiran overlooked. Nothing less than a checkmate. This check, I assume this what he overlooked. Because now his rook was on a7. Let's think about the logic. The rook just moved. And checkmate. Just checkmate. Well, blundering a checkmate is definitely, well, in such situation, something pretty serious. All right. Next one. We have enough. Okay, some new faces. Radjabov against Navarra from Vikanzi, 2012, of course. Well, Radjabov got a better position pretty much straight out of the opening. Maybe even at some point could have played better, but got this position that with no doubt White is better here. Played bishop c4. Well, after rook d2, White is better, but Black might have some counterplay. The second rank is weak, and material right now is equal. Black is under pressure, but, well, just equal. Navarra, that we mentioned before the game, Nakamura Sasikiran from the Olympiad, had an incredible Olympiad score and just has been playing some really decent chess in the last few months, but here blundered insanely. Played knight c7. Oh, you take, and I pin you. But what he overlooked was, oh, you can pin me, I can pin you, and just resigned. Unbelievable. Amazing. Seeing the idea on one side, Black is pinning White's bishop, but it wasn't easy to see that White is pinning Black pawn as well. All right, well, that's why it's here. The next game, well, Carlsen, Topalov, Vikanzi 2012. If I had to put a title to this game, I don't know. I will be respectful. Obviously, the Carlsen, the best player in the world, Topalov, world champion, such a genius player. But I don't know. Maybe something like "Don't Drink and Play," something like in that sort would be my funny title for this game. Probably "Don't Drink and Play." All right, what happened here? Topalov played the opening well, and actually he has a very cool position. And here, a series of exchanges, sacrifices, blunders, you name it, that wouldn't have embarrassed any bullet player by some unrated players have happened. Or I'm a bit exaggerating, but I remember after the game, someone was asking Carlsen, why did you sacrifice? And he said in a very honest way. So if Magnus is saying that, I have the right to just repeat it. Said, I didn't sacrifice, I blundered. So what happened? Knight f5, take. Okay, this is a pawn. right? And what? E4 is collapsing, the bishop on g3. Probably horrible spot for white already. Bishop h4. Okay, that is a rook. I'm not analyzing it so much. I remember I gave this position to some students of mine, really strong players, 24, 23, 25. Strong players to look at that with a lot of time. This is one of the most complicated and interesting position in the last year. Such huge material difference. But we will go to just ahead. We will go here. And we will stop for a second at exactly this moment. So, a full rook for white. Down. A full rook, white is down. Not less. What is white's threat in this position? Believe it or not, it is not really easy to see a threat for white, a direct threat for white. I think the best threat that when analyzing we could have seen, and the best threat that also the computer suggesting, is that if we play a silly move like a5 without any purpose, then the threat of white might be to activate his rook. This is something to discuss. And of course, this is impossible. It is the light color bishop is what is keeping black's position totally alive, defending all those squares. This is really just going to be very close to checkmate, actually. Not very close. It's going to be checkmate. So, what is really the threat? Well, rook d1, because then the light color bishop is going to be hanging. Okay, but if this is the threat, then just move the bishop somewhere. Play bishop d3, play bishop c2, play queen b7. No, of course it is in a game you are shaking insanely in this position. I think so. But still, it looks like white has to find some miracle. If not, he's just lost in this position. Just keep the bishop and winning. Topalov, which is many times on the other side, we've seen some of the greatest masterpieces coming from Topalov on the other side, sacrificing a piece, a rook, whatever, for pressure. Panicking here and playing this move. Was it necessary? Absolutely not. And after some complications, went on to lose the game. So it was a very entertaining game. Maybe at the end a bit more entertaining for Carlsen, but entertaining in the sense that Carlsen blunders, huge, and then Topalov very unnaturally panicking, giving the queen away, and finding himself in a lost situation. The next two examples, I think, have something in common, and they are interesting. Some of the games, by the way, are taken from rapid games. Some of them are taken from longer time, from main tournament. I made no effort to look at Blitz game. This is taken from the Shebanenko Memorial. It's a rapid game, and between two very strong grandmasters, Naidich against Rizintsev. So we can join the game at this moment. And White just took. And it is interesting whose king is weaker. The amazing part, I gave this position to some students of mine, and they immediately went after White king, very much in Rizintsev style. So I always like to tell them, excellent, you played like a 2700 player, but you just lost the game immediately. They like it, and I think it's funny, and, well, I want them to play like 2700 and not blunder immediately. So, why is such a move a blunder? Let's think about it first of all. Black is pretty much threatening checkmate. Queen e1 is also a possibility with the same logical idea. But what happened here, and this and the next game have a lot of similarity. So other than just having fun, we can also study tiny bit. White pieces are this way or another all over black. But how? By playing this move. This move that breaks through everything. This is what Naidich played. What black should play? Play this move. Not allow the queen, white queen, to enter the game on the E file and open the 7th rank. This is why this is horrible. Two things are happening. The queen entered the game and the 7th rank is open. Unbelievable. Not easy, maybe. I'm not certain what was the time situation, but this is part of our educational stuff. Just the game is finished. Pawn take. If bishop take, rook take e6, and alright, this is just checkmate. You can see if you can find any defense after e6. I very, very much doubt it. And our next example, very similar, very, very similar next example. Grischuk Bologan from the World Rapid Tournament, won by Karyakin. Carlsen was leading and in the last day collapsed. Alright, so white played queen a8 and he has some pressure. Black looks very solid, but not very easy for him to defend the pawn. He might have to give the pawn away and then see how to defend the endgame. Bishop d8, for example, and so. Bologan, which is, as we know, extremely dynamic player and playing passive, not really his cup of tea, played queen c4. And the idea is interesting that after take, he's going to go rook d1. And now this interesting move is the way for black to save himself. Without too huge calculations, you can calculate it by yourself. You can take the computer to help you, whichever way that you want it, that is all right. Actually interesting that this is not going to work in view of the queen coming back to block. But what is the big problem, and why did I put those two positions one after the other? e6. Once again, this move that breaks into black position in this situation, frees the bishop, should not have happened. Two situations that we have seen that black had to keep a piece there, not allowing this break. And after rook take, rook d8, queen take a7, the game is actually, queen b7 was even more precise, but the game is just finished here. Alrighty. So one move, again, it is rapid and we will give those players every discount they can and deserve because it's a rapid one, but still, this is quite a serious one. Alright, Ivanchuk. Ivanchuk that can sometimes play the most brilliant way in the world and sometimes the most crazy way. If I'm not mistaken, he lost 4 games in a row in this tournament. 4 games in a row. I think so. It is the Reggio Emilia tournament, started in December 2011 and continued into 2012. This is our game from 2012. So Ivanchuk with the black pieces, playing against Vityogov. Knight d6 was played, rook c1. Okay, I think white is a bit better, or at least I would prefer white, although the computer say black has no problemos at all. Just play bishop f6 and at some point think about knight f5. Absolutely no problemos at all. What Ivanchuk went on? Knight takes c4, knight takes c4. What is his idea? Well, let's see. If the queen takes c4, I think you want to go back, and that's quite serious. But if the knight take, oh man, and after b5, knight e3, the queen is defended enough and important to go to e3 to block the check. Ivanchuk missed one of those little things. Either the queen is defended again, either the knight e3 blocking the check. Just resigned on the spot here. And oh man, some other games like against Caruana where he gave all the pieces in a row followed by this one. But this definitely a nasty blunder by such a great genius player such as Ivanchuk. That's why it is on our list. Alright, Well, let's just summarize the first part of our video with Radjabov against Tomaszewski. I think that this was a very, how would I say it? It's not the easy blunder, but it is definitely a cool one to at least think about before our next video. When choosing blunders, I want them to be, okay, important, affecting World Championship, taking the best players, entertaining, but also educational. This one is, to my taste, a bit more educational actually than entertaining, because it is quite serious what happened in this game. Okay, so we are joined by the game on move. It is Black's move 24, and he played knight f to d4. This was played in Tal Memorial. Radjabov already right now indicating something, played a good move, queen d3. Already some visions of c3. Okay, not now, knight b3 check, of course, but the queen is just perfect on d3. That was a great move. Okay, some ideas here, controlling everything. It was probably some time for Black to think about this pin. Alright, Black played b5. He wants to maybe attack somehow. Alright, king b1. Okay, so now we are already not joking. c3 is a threat. It wasn't before because of knight b3 check. b4, stopping c3. Alright, a4. h6, knight b3. So some pressure already. By the way, if we go back, Black should have considered already retreating with his queen on the spot. Not easy to play that, but at least something to consider. I don't think that h6 is wrong yet. Rook e7. But what about this move? Oh, this was the last possible call in this position. Here Black should have played, and this is an amazing difference. Rook to e6 was his only, pretty much already we are in an only move territory, because this pin is just unpleasant. What is the difference? Well, we will see. After rook e7, Radjabov played one move, amazing move, super cool move, and the game is just finished. That's it. He's going to pile up against this knight, and there's nothing that Black can do at the moment. There's just nothing that Black can do. The game finished. Rook take, and the knight is trapped, either rook e4 or c3 or whichever other move is going to follow. Why was rook e6 the different? Because after knight d2, this is a valid move for Black. This is the big difference. And in the following continuation, let's see, take, knight take, the queen can take, and after take, there is a check. While in the other continuation, if the rook is on e7, let's play it like in the game, the knight on c6 has to go right now. And that's it. No queen take and capture here. This is, well, it's a blunder that lost the game on the spot. Now, is it the same type of blunder like Bacrot? Not really. Did it have the same result? Yes, exactly. But still, such super strong players, well, we have to put this as rook e7, a bit too short. Rook e6 might have continued the game. All right, some shocking lines, some shocking games, decided world championships, decided some of the biggest tournaments. We have more to follow, and that will be our second part for this special Blunder series, horror show, like my boss Sandro has decided to call this series for 2012 chess blunders by 27 and above. Bye everyone.